to Reverend Ed Trevors. You're on live right now. It's 5:23 p.m. West Coast time. It's still March 9th, 2024. Thanks for the kudos on that one there. But I'm hoping that once I get your email going, I'll be able to talk to you more at depth in this one here. You gotta. I'm gonna mute your broadcast for a second here. I have problems concerning about friends and family, Rev. Very few people actually do check up on me, and right now I'm just trying to make sure my little dog, slowly, surely dying from dementia, but she's the last family member I actually give a shit about. Pardon my language, but she matters to me. I had to take a semester off from college to take care of her. I'm trying and I'm struggling like crazy, Reverend. I wanted to put a message out there on your bulletin board about, on your chat forum, about it's okay to be human, to feel the pain, to feel grieving, to cry your ass off. I was, excuse me, pardon me, sorry. Yeah, I need to get a doctor to check on that damn thing. I discovered a long time ago, and that's one part of the basis I've been doing on my own here is talking about what's going on and the grieving and mourning that I've been going through, and the people trying to give me solicited advice throughout my lifetime, medical, professional, family. I guess nobody never knew how to deal with grieving and family in our bloodline, or anywhere else for that matter. And it kind of hurts like hell, Rev. It kind of hurts like hell because how the hell was I supposed to be able to deal with it growing up? I was supposed to be a man about it. And these days, I have been trying to contact you about this one, and I'm praying to God that maybe one of these videos will land up in your email account. You'll be able to see it for a short time. I know it's long-winded. I know you're going on vacation, but when you get a chance, you see the background I've got here. Well, that's my memorial area. Ma was back in 2013. Dave was back in 2018. And the pain is still fresh. A long time ago, I wouldn't have been grieving and crying as hard. But when it started off losing Ma, and then there was another surrogate mother friend we adopted us back in '76, and made a hell of a lot of difference in our life. Rarely these days I'm in contact because of their loss of the mother right after my own mother. And right after David died, hardly anybody else contacted me anyway. I don't have the friends or family that still give me enough support for this. I'm probably selfish and self-conscious about it, and I've talked a lot of crap on my own channel for a lot of things that bother me, that matter, political and non-political. Yeah, that was little Mama's, a little dog. She matters the world to me. My mate. My mate. Well, you got to show your dog. I got to show mine. Come here, honey. I'll take you in a minute. I know. I got to get those pads going. Can I show you off a little bit? Come here. Let me pick you up. Oh, come here, fuss budget. Oh, the old broad, the old woman, about 20, I think. Dementia. She'll switch personalities if I get her triggered enough for it. I try not to. She's my one and only. I had her when before Mama passed away. She had a few years living with Mama, and she loved Mama. She loved my big brother, and caregiver to her. I'm trying to do the best I can, Rev. She matters to me as well. I know. I'll get you going. I want to make sure you're all right. What? purple bag that you see out there says Antelope Valley College. There's a teddy bear or two buried in that mess. I've been going there for several years. 2 classes at a time, even during the COVID nightmare. Because that mattered more because I promised my family that I'd complete college. I intend to keep that. For them and for myself. And it's still a nightmare. Getting more and more shut in though. I used to go to a liquor store all the damn time. And now I got the pattern and I got the habit of just staying home mostly. I mean, going to school online was one thing, but going to a college campus personally, that was still an adventure, and I was still trying to deal with it as a regular routine. These days, I'm not so regular these days. Some days are hard. I deal with a therapist all the time. Type out letters, I send out videos, but apparently she can't see the damn YouTubes through the insurance company. Kind of sucks, though. Kind of sucks, Rev. I got another guy I talk to when I can on the East Coast. And I talked to him. I haven't physically talked to him, but we both exchange videos. I mean, I see his. I put comments in here. He sees mine. He puts comments. I mean, we both did a commenting situation. But some things actually are scaring the crap out of me. That's why I do my channel. I talk about things that are on my mind. Besides grieving a mourning, I'm also talking about the mental health going on these days. What scares me, terrifies me, puts me into a PTSD roll dive. Good Lord. You're talking about your tattoos. My brother had tattoos before he died. Had a cross, yin and yang. And he had a Woody Woodpecker. He wanted to get redone. Somehow I got screwed over. He got him in it while he was in the Navy. Didn't get permission for it. Had to do break time on that one. But he had a nickname that drove him crazy, and I don't think it'd be appropriate for me to say anything more about it. But he did believe in the cross. He was a fierce warrior of sorts. Some things happened, and he got out on a bad conduct, which was one step above dishonorable. He was trying to take care of his family, and the Navy and relief organizations wouldn't do it, wouldn't help him out for whatever reason. So he tried to get his discharge upgraded for so many decades until lost the damn paperwork. And everyone else who testified is already gone into God's hands, literally. So I was never actually able to help him out in his older age. But I know probably God would honor him anyway because he was honoring God and honoring the family. Ma needed help taking care of her disabled grandmother who was going through, suffering through stroke, a massive one, paralyzed her on the left-hand side. So half her brain was still working, half the memories were still working. Part of her personality, well, that was a different story altogether. Taking care of her as a teenager in those days, a young teenager. And dealing with Ma was struggling like crazy. She had already been a caregiver with my elderly aunt who died. Surely is like a few months before my grandmother actually had the stroke. That was hard enough right there. That was my best friend. There were stories about that one, Rev. The only story that actually mattered, I guess. She was an aunt that was suffering through the death of her own husband. She had been with for so many years that when my family met her up in Oakland, I met her for the first time. She was a mean old lady. And she was put into a nursing home by one of my uncles who was a benefactor, theoretically. Durable power of attorney. But my mother fought to get Grandma and Aunt May together. For a while, They lived together, tolerated each other, and there was the time when they moved under the same roof my brother and my mother and I had growing up as kids. My brother was 8 years older than I am, first born. Aunt May was still a mean lady at the time, but the story goes in the family that I climbed up on her lap, grabbed her by the face, and said, I don't care how mean you are, I still love you. I guess somehow somebody in the family saw this. I barely remembered it right now as it is, but it seems I've seen the wall of tears hit, and if I remember it, she had the grief in her eyes. She had the pain melting. Somebody actually gave a hoot for this old coot. And what hit me hardest is when she died a few years later. She had heart attacks and then stabilized and got back home. I struggled taking care of Aunt May and Grandma. Dave was doing the best he could. He even had a job before he went into the Navy. There was an argument between Ma and Dave on that one. Dave wanted to go in the Marine Corps, be a Marine, just like my uncle was. The same one to put Aunt May into the nursing home. Had her caged up over there. She was staring at the walls, feeling the pain, feeling the grief, feeling it all. It's like these days, I know how she feels. I know how she feels. On the day that I actually had my 12th birthday, she died like maybe minutes after it hit midnight. It was about January 31st. 1 or 2 weeks later, my family's going up to San Francisco, Oakland area, to the Bay, and to have her buried. I wasn't supposed to see Aunt May through a viewing glass. Had a glass partition. It had me kept inside the main hallway, or actually the main foyer, and everyone else who knew Aunt May was inside watching the open casket and paying their last respects. I saw this body dressed up in a blue and white housecoat, but I didn't see her. I just saw the body. All that weekend I was trying to hold it in. I was trying to hold it in, Rev. I didn't realize how hard it hit me. I heard about Uncle Al before we got Aunt May to our house, and that kind of hurt me. I met Uncle Al. I met the husband. He was a cool, great guy. He had comic books. He had laughter in his face. He had life. Aunt May had some of the life there, but she loved her husband and loved her antiques a great deal. But she didn't know how to express the love after she lost her husband. And when I opened up the floodgates, I didn't realize I was creating a best friend out of her. I could play fish with her. I could talk to her. 6 months after her death, roughly around that time, I had a nightmare. Or maybe a visitation there, Rev. She came to me in her blue white housecoat into our house that we were living in at the time. We moved from one place to another place shortly after her death. And then Grandma had the stroke. So yeah, first year was pretty much hell during that time. Ma and Grandma had an argument when we first moved into the new house, renters, and They argued, and next thing I know is Grandma's packing up and Ma's taking her to the airport. She goes down to San Diego to stay with her kids down there. Next thing we hear, and that same weekend, Grandma had a stroke. Almost 3.5 years. But that dream, though, she was standing in the doorway of the bathroom as I was trying to get myself ready for school. She just stood there smiling. Looked like there was a continent around her. And she was beaming. She wasn't saying anything. She was just standing there beaming. The next thing I know, I'm struggling through junior high, crying my eyeballs out, trying to hold it in half the time. Got back home and that really let her loose. I think that was the major memory I had as a kid, damn near losing a friend of mine. No, 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 I'll take that. When before we moved in this one particular house, and we were living in the other house, took care of Grandma and Aunt May before all hell broke loose in there. I remember going to a church across the street, community church, and talking with the lay ministers over there that wanted me to accept Jesus. Okay, fine. It seemed like somebody was knocking on my spiritual doorway because I felt the power. I felt calmness, I felt peace, but the thing is, what I was feeling is reassurance that my aunt was going to be okay for that moment. She was going to be okay for that moment, for that time period. And that's all I wanted to pray to God about is just take care of my aunt, please. Don't let her die. And I think I got the affirmative on that one. And that was cool. That was cool, Rev. What wasn't cool? Losing her. That may have been some anger I didn't even touch on this one. I didn't realize her heart gave out, had a massive heart attack, and she was ready to see Uncle Al. And then Grandma had to go crazy and stroke out, and we had to take care of her at home 24/7 while I had to keep going to high school during that time, junior high and through high school. And then she dies, and I still had to struggle through high school. But I couldn't express the grief. I had to hold it in. I held it in for a hell of a long while. I didn't even get a visitation from Grandma on this one here, Rev. I didn't. I remember losing a few more uncles, maybe a few more cousins and aunts along the way in my lifetime. And yeah, some of them actually did kick me in the ass and kicked me hard on that one. And I struggled with the grief and mourning. I just had to hold it together for everybody. All to be strong for everybody. That's what I was taught. Not be human, not go crazy, not get triggered as much. Ma had been losing people left and right that mattered the most to her, and she wasn't even taught how to deal with emotions that was killing her. She wasn't, Rev. It hurt like a. I could put. I could put adjectives on this one here. It just hurt. David realized that Ma was dying. It really struck home on February 1st, 2013, that she wasn't coming back. Dave kept trying to tell me to be prepared for this. I didn't want to deal with it. I lived with Ma all my life. I parted ways a few times, weekend or two, maybe a trip, but mostly I lived with my mother, Mama's boy. I'm the baby, gotta love me. I saw Ma in the hospital. He fought like hell to stabilize her ass and put her in the critical care unit. And then David and I struggled with it. My brother was a recovering alcoholic for so many years. He died clean and sober, 32 years, dude. September 8th, 2018. Now, where we're losing Ma, I wanted to destroy furniture because I was so damn angry at God. I was so much in pain that I was losing her. I wanted her to get up. I wanted her to be like she was a long time ago. She was just too damn tired. Her soul was weary, and so was her body. And on the 19th, we signed the paperwork, and she slowly passed away. The machines weren't keeping her alive. Her soul was already leaving the damn body, or had already left it, and the body just didn't know how to shut itself down. It was like weeks later, we got into some personal effects of her, and we saw this old letter. I had undergone heart surgery to repair 3 valves, and I died 3 times, been upstairs, and got kicked out 3 times because it wasn't my time. And it was so damn weird seeing my damn body mutilated like it was, trying to get my ass saved. I thought I was a piece of meat. It leaves a hell of a mark on you throughout your life, I'll tell you that much. How to deal with death on its own terms and trying to deal with it on a reality change. The reasons why I have to keep talking about this on my logs, why I have to keep doing this stuff, because it still kicks my ass. And I have to, because I have to. The letter was written by my brother at a young age to the doctor saying, please don't let my brother die. Doctor gave it to Mom for safekeeping, and she kept it all those years. When Dave and I opened up a special box and we saw the letter, oh my God, everything else came out. It's one of the rare times we actually cried. It was one of the rare times we actually cried. I mean, bawled our heads off. I've been doing that ever since. I lost as I said before, that's a very good friend of ours. There's stories I've done on my other videos regarding this one, but also related to the move from one place to another place, and living in that one other place that we actually had our grandmother and aunt live with us. She was very special. She and her family adopted us, and we adopted them. But after they lost their mother, it kind of broke apart somehow. The glues that held us together, gone. I struggle alone with it now. I don't have anybody. I don't have any family over here that I can talk to. Hardly anybody over here I trust anyway, Doc. I don't, Rev. I get triggered too many damn times. I am losing it left and right. I talked to the therapist about it. We try to work on it. Not to mention we work on the medical stuff. We try talking about the medical stuff. These days I gotta deal with the medical stuff for my own damn mortal corpse. And I'm afraid. How the hell am I gonna be able to face him, Doc? How the hell am I gonna be able to face him, Rev? There have been times I also wanted to just do the final pathway myself. Not get called up by him, but voluntarily it. Sometimes I fight it left and right because I don't want to go through the damn thing. It scares me, hurts me, and pisses me off at the same damn time. I want to be pissing him off and my family if I happen to decide that this is the time for me to do it because I decided, not God. And they're always looking for me to say that during these therapy sessions. They don't want me to go through the damn thing. I don't want to go through the damn thing. I still want to live for a little bit longer. I still want to do a few more things in my lifetime, but what scares the hell out of me is getting called up too damn short. I don't like the process, Reverend. I've been through it before. It doesn't feel good half the time. Other people may feel liberated, and when you get back into the mortal body, you're changed so much. Adulthood is one thing, but when you're a kid and have to grow up with this damn shit, holy crap, Rev. It's no wonder I had a thing against God all these years over it. Why did he put me back? Why am I back? He had a plan. I didn't know what the plan was. I didn't want to do it. Didn't know what the plan was. I wanted to stay home. I was thought I was happy until I got kicked out 3 times because God said I wasn't ready for it. I still had to grow up. I still had to do things. Do I realize what it is? No. I like to write. I like to write stories. I'm talking about stories left and right, but this thing, holy crap, Rev. I mean, I deal with a hell of a lot of deep stuff. I've been dealing with the deeper stuff and putting it on video instead of writing a damn thing down. I mean, I should have been writing this stuff down a long time ago, but it just, I felt one day I just had to get the video cam on me and start talking. I mean, it's one thing doing an audio recording, and that became natural. That became a habit. That became like I had to do this every single time now. Since losing Ma, I've been doing it on a constant basis. Not the video. That came after my brother's death. But the audio recordings. How many flash drives I've been going through. Just to talk about my day, talk about my thoughts and feelings, getting all this stuff down. I'd drive stenographers crazy over this damn stuff. Transcriptionists would have a field day with me. And now I'm doing it on video. I'm pouring my heart and soul on a video. Trying to keep it together, trying to keep a log going on in case I happen to go off the crazy path, and actually I go on the crazy path, and then showing people how I did it. How many times, Reverend, have we heard about people losing it left and right, and then nobody else knew how or why? Maybe there have been some elements, but not much of a story. I'm a storyteller. I know I have been for a long while. I read stories. I loved stories. I love hearing about stories. Stories were cool. Factual, knowledge, fantasy, information. Everything's a story. Everything. There's a story in everything. But there's also a story of pain and grieving and mourning at this point over here that we hardly ever talk about. We have to keep it, hold it in, and it drives us crazy to the point where we're trying to kill each other left and right. And we don't even realize the reason why we're doing it. Suicide by this or suicide by that or just suicide period. And then the people in the background who have to look and witness this damn thing, they have to suffer through the damn shit. As soon as they hear their loved one is gone, how much of the grief and pain they do have to go through. We do short stories on it in the media, but that's about it. Do anybody else follow through? Fuck no. Pardon my language. I have to do it on my channel. I have to talk about it. I've seen young kids having issues with their own damn situations and their own damn issues. But the adults talking about their own thing before they pop their corkers? I feel like I should be ashamed about the damn thing, but I'm not. Maybe it is a calling. Maybe it is a calling. I don't know. But all I know is I had to get this damn stuff on my chest, and I still have to talk about it. I still have to pray about it. I still have to talk to God about this. Sometimes it's not constant, though. But I know He's still listening. Sometimes I think He's scratching His head, wondering what the hell I'm going to do or say next. I think He trusts me a little bit to a point where I try to figure this stuff out and not screw it up for Him. That little advice I put into the chat logs, that wasn't crap. That was experience. I'm trying to deal with it a day at a time. Sometimes I have to take it a minute at a time, and even a therapist would agree with me on that one. That I have to do this. I tried to be. I don't know what the hell I'm trying to be anymore these days. All I know is I read a lot of stuff, including the Bible. Not entirely, but there are certain sections of it that just stuck in my head. And other stories I should have been, but more relevant these days. We get into political crap, and there's too many videos on that damn shit I've made. But this one is regarding the diary of a griever named John Weaver, and that is me. Because I have to put this out, Rev. I have to. Even though I'm doing this under general, not usually under enlisted, I'm going to tag this and going to send it over to you. I'm hoping maybe one day you'll be able to pick up on it and understand something. Maybe you can try to relate it to the grievers and the mourners at this time. It's okay to go nuts. It's okay to pour your heart and soul out, especially when you get the triggers. And only you, whoever the person is listening, would know the triggers. Even you, Rev. You would know your own personal triggers. For me, it's family. It's home. The two major ones that have the most remote reach that could put me into a tizzy, into a tsunami of emotions at this point over here, tidal wave of spilling my tears and guts out and praying and pleading to God to forgive me that I'm going through this mess. Praying and pleading that His will be done, not mine, because I don't trust mine anymore sometimes. I don't. I get to be a megalo egotistical maniac when I put stuff on to think I'm better than everybody else. It's just a damn shield. I'm no better than anyone else. I know that. A major fool and idiot. I can accept that one there, Rev, but I'm one screwed up, damaged person. Some people want me to get over it, be happy, live life only once. And you ever read the book by Aldous Huxley, Brave New World? We're talking about classes and we're talking about the drug soma, the effects of the damn stuff. That's what I'm afraid of, being turned into a damn lab experiment, turned into Frankenstein's creation there. That bad videos about my disenfranchisement. PTSD for the medical establishment all my life. So much crap I poured out on that one in a lot of videos. It'll take you forever to get through it. It's always locked up in the WIN files, but it's made public out there for people to learn. I'm not alone going through fear of the medical establishment. I have no clip. I have nothing positive to say, but I wish I had. I go through therapy just to learn those kind of steps. You just have to pray sometimes. If you got faith, you got to pray about it constantly. Do the serenity prayer if you're in the program. Just take it a minute at a time. There are chemical and physical triggers out there that would put me well beyond the quote-unquote white life coach syndrome, always put me into a state of shock. This past week, I was in there. I was in there, Reverend. State of shock. The thing is, I could blame a lot of people for the damn thing, but I still claim I'm a male Karen at this point. But the thing is, I have to be part of the solution and not keep up with the problem. I have to be part of a solution, Reverend. I have to be. I've seen what it's like to be stuck in a problem. I've seen other people going through the same thing. I don't want it. I don't want it, Reverend. If God's ever watching these things, he'll probably have a lark on me. I'm going to do what he wants me to do. And sometimes it's hard as hell. And if I have to walk through this thing, I'll have to walk through it. It means blood work. I hate needles. And dealing with the hardest of things just to take care of a mortal corpse for a few more years before it passes. But until that happens, I'm not saying that I don't like all of my life. There was a lot of aspects of my life that I treasured and hold on to the memories, hold on to the pictures, hold on to whatever I can. It mattered a damn thing to me. It mattered a damn thing for me being a caregiver for my mother and my brother. I mean, I could do more letters on this one, talking about this, but I'm going to see if I can finish this one up somehow. I've been a caregiver for my family. I've been. I don't know, I've lost track of time. But I've been there for their last days on earth. I wouldn't trade it for anything. If I could repeat it, I would. I miss them a great deal. But the thing is, I have to deal with the reality. They're not coming back, I know that. They're ashes. That's a reminder. They're not coming up as zombies. I could deal with them in dreams. I could talk with them in dreams if I could. Interact, maybe. But I don't think Ma and Dave are angry at me. I don't think they're pissed off at me. Maybe I'm pissed off at myself. I have nightmares sometimes. But I'm dealing the best I can. And that's all I can do. So, Rev, I think I talked your ear out too much. My apologies. I know I'm a Star Trek fan, and I'll probably say live long and prosper with a Vulcan hand salute. Just say be with you. God take care of you. God bless you and your family and your dog too. Give the hug. Scratch his butt for me. Love him like hell. The hardest days, Rev, are the last days. Even worse after that. Even worse after that.